Matthew chapter 26. And it came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these sayings, that he said unto his disciples, Ye know that after 2 days is the Passover, and the Son of Man shall be delivered to be crucified. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people into the hall of the high priest called Caiaphas, and consulted together that they might take Jesus by subtlety and kill him. But they said, Not at the feast day, lest any uproar be among the people. And when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman which had a box of very costly ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at the table. And when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, What need this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much, and given to the poor. And Jesus, knowing it, said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me shall ye not always have. For in that she poured this ointment on my body, she did it to bury me. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached throughout all the world, there shall also this that she hath done be spoken of for a memorial of her. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests, and said, What will ye give me? And I will deliver him unto you. And they appointed unto him 30 pieces of silver. And from that time he sought opportunity to betray him. Now on the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, Go ye into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The Master saith, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thine house with my disciples. And the disciples did as Jesus had given them charge, and made ready the Passover. So when the even was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Is it I, Master? And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, he shall betray me. Surely the Son of Man goeth his way, as it is written of him. But woe be to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had never been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Is it I, Master? And he said unto him, Thou hast said it. And as they did eat, Jesus took the bread, and when he had blessed, he brake it, and gave it to the disciples, and said, Take, eat, this is my body. Also he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, that is shed for many for the remission of sins. I say unto you that I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, until that day when I shall drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And when they had sung a psalm, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then said Jesus unto them, All ye shall be offended by me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and his sheep of his flock shall be scattered. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee. But Peter answered and said unto him, Though that all men should be offended by thee, yet will I never be offended. Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, that this night before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. Peter said unto him, Though I should die with thee, I will in no case deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. Then went Jesus with them into a place which is called Gethsemane, and said unto his disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took unto him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to wax sorrowful, and grievously troubled. Then said Jesus unto them, My soul is very heavy, even unto the death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. So he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. Afterward he came unto the disciples and found them asleep, and said to Peter, What? Could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is ready, but the flesh is weak. Again he went away the second time, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup cannot pass away from me, but that I must drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. So he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then came he to his disciples and said unto them, Sleep henceforth, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is given into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Behold, he is at hand that betrayeth me. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves, from the high priests and the elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him had given them a token, saying, Whomsoever I shall kiss, that is he. Lay hold on him. And forthwith he came to Jesus and said, God save thee, Master, and kissed him. Then Jesus said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Jesus, and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Jesus stretched out his hand, and drew his sword, and struck a servant of the high priest, and smote off his ear. Then said Jesus unto him, Put up thy sword into its place, for all that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Either thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he will give me more than 12 legions of angels? How then should the Scriptures be fulfilled, which say that it must be so? The same hour said Jesus to the multitude, Ye be come out as it were against a thief, with swords and staves to take me. I sat daily teaching in the temple among you, and ye took me not. But all this was done that the Scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him, and fled. And they took Jesus and led him to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. And Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's hall, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the whole council sought false witnesses against Jesus, to put him to death. But they found none, and though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. But at the last came 2 false witnesses, and they said, This man said, I can destroy the temple of God and build it in 3 days. Then the chief priest arose and said unto him, Answerest thou nothing? What is the matter that these men witness against thee? But Jesus held his peace. Then the chief priest answered and said unto him, I charge thee, swear unto us by the living God. Tell us, if thou be that Christ, the Son of God, or no. Jesus said unto him, Thou hast said it. Nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the power of God, and come in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, He hath blasphemed. What have we any more need of witnesses? Behold, now ye have heard his blasphemy. What think ye? They answered, and said, He is guilty of death. Then spat they in his face, and buffeted him, and others smote him with rods, saying, Prophesy to us, O Christ, who is he that smote thee? Peter sat without in the hall, and a maid came to him, saying, Thou also wast with Jesus of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I wot not what you sayest. When he went out into the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto them that were there, This man was also with Jesus of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, saying, I know not the man. So after a while came unto him they that stood by, and said unto Peter, Surely thou art also one of them, for even thy speech betrayeth thee. Then began he to curse himself, and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew. Then Peter remembered the words of Jesus, which had said unto him, Before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. So he went out and wept bitterly. Matthew chapter 27. And when morning was come, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death, and led him away bound, and delivered him unto Pontius Pilate the governor. Then when Judas, which betrayed him, saw that he was condemned, he repented himself, and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned, betraying the innocent blood. But they said, What is that to us? See thou to it. And when he had cast down the silver pieces in the temple, he departed and went and hanged himself. And the chief priests took the silver pieces and said, It is not lawful for us to put them into the treasure, because it is the price of blood. And they took counsel and bought with them a potter's field for the burial of strangers. Wherefore that field is called the field of blood until this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, And they took 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel valued. And they gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord appointed me. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the King of the Jews? And Jesus said unto him, Thou sayest it. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things they lay against thee? But he answered him not a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at the feast the governor was wod to deliver unto the people a prisoner whom they would. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. When they were then gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Whether will ye that I loose unto you Barabbas, or Jesus, which is called Christ? For he knew well that for envy they had delivered him. Also, when he was set down upon the judgment seat, his wife sent to him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream by reason of him. But the chief priests and elders had persuaded the people that they should ask Barabbas, and should destroy Jesus. Then the governor answered and said unto them, Whether of the twain will ye that I let loose unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said unto them, What shall I do with Jesus, which is called Christ? They all said to him, Let him be crucified. Then said the governor, But what evil hath he done? Then they cried the more, saying, Let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he availed nothing, but that more tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just man. Look you to it. Then answered all the people and said, His blood be upon us and our children. Thus let he Barabbas loose unto them, and scourged Jesus, and delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the common hall, and gathered about him the whole band. And they stripped him, and put about him a scarlet robe, and platted a crown of thorns, and put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand, and bowed their knees before him, and mocked him, saying, God save thee, King of the Jews, and spit upon him, and took a reed, and smote him on the head. Thus when they had mocked him, they took the robe from him, and put his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, named Simon. Him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they came unto the place called Golgotha, that is to say, the place of dead men's skulls, they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And when they had crucified him, they parted his garments, and did cast lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They divided my garments among them, and upon my vesture did cast lots. And they sat and watched him there. They set up also over his head this cause written, This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. And there were 2 thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and another on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple, and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Likewise also the high priests, mocking him, with the scribes and elders and Pharisees, said, He saved others, but he cannot save himself. If he be the King of Israel, let him come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God. The selfsame thing also the thieves which were crucified with him cast in his teeth. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, that is, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And some of them that stood there, when they heard it, said, This man calleth Elijah. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar, and put it on a reed, and gave him to drink. Others said, Let us see if Elijah will come and save him. Then Jesus cried again with a loud voice, and yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain, from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the stones were cloven, and the graves did open themselves, and many bodies of saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. When the centurion and they that were with him, watching Jesus, saw the earth quake, and the things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly this was the Son of God. And many women were there, beholding him afar off, which had followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering unto him, among whom was Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's sons. And when the even was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea, named Joseph, who had also himself been Jesus' disciple. He went to Pilate and asked the body of Jesus. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. So Joseph took the body, and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and put it in his new tomb, which he had hewn out of a rock, and rolled a great stone upon the door of the sepulchre, and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene, and the other Mary, sitting over against the sepulchre. Now the next day that followed the preparation of the Sabbath, the high priests and the Pharisees assembled to Pilate, and said, Sir, we remember that the deceiver said, while he was yet alive, Within 3 days I will rise. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples might come at night, and steal him away, and say unto the people, He is risen from the dead. So shall the last error be worse than the first. Then Pilate said unto them, Ye have a watch, go, make it sure as ye know. And they went and made the sepulchre sure with the watch, and sealed the stone. Matthew chapter 28. Now in the end of the Sabbath, when the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake. The angel of the Lord descended from heaven, and came and rolled back the stone from the door, and sat upon it. And his countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him the keepers were astonied, and became as dead men. But the angel answered and said to the women, Fear ye not, for I know that ye seek Jesus that was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come, see the place where the Lord was laid, and go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead, and behold, he goeth before you into Galilee. There ye shall see him. Lo, I have told you. So they departed quickly from the sepulchre, with fear and great joy, and they did run to bring his disciples word. And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus also met them, saying, God save you. And they came, and took him by the feet, and worshipped him. Then said Jesus unto them, Be not afraid. Go and tell my brethren that they go into Galilee. There shall they see me. Now when they were gone, behold, some of the watch came into the city, and showed unto the high priests all the things that were done. And they gathered them together with the elders, and took counsel, and gave large money unto the soldiers, saying, Say, his disciples came by night, and stole him away while we slept. And if this matter come before the governor to be heard, we will persuade him, and so use the matter that you shall not need to care. So they took the money, and did as they were taught. And this saying is noised among the Jews unto this day. Then the 11 disciples went into Galilee, into a mountain, where Jesus had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Go therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, until the end of the world. Amen.